towards an inclusive governance in Nigeria on political arena. Women have only 4.4% representation in the Ninth National Assembly in Nigeria. And sadly, Nigeria has been identified as one of the worst performers in women representation in the parliament in the West African region, and one of the lowest in the whole of Africa. So, in order to change the statistics, a bill that seeks to create 111 additional special seats for women in the 9th National Assembly has passed a second reading in the House of Representatives. And the bill is sponsored by Deputy Chief Whip of the House of Representatives, Honorable Nkiruka Onyejiocha. That bill was read for the first time on Thursday, 22nd April 2021 in the House. And that is why we're here today on Political Arena to look at the role of women groups, a case of 111 special seats in the National Assembly. This is towards an inclusive governance in Nigeria, an initiative of Nigerian Women Trust Fund, NWTF, and supported by Open Society Initiative of West Africa, OSIWA. My name is Tom Okiwale Shonaya. It is a pleasure for me this Tuesday afternoon, 25th of May, 2021, to have with me two women that will be taking us through what we need to know about the role of women groups in an inclusive governance in Nigeria. With me first is Idayat Hassan, Director, Center for Democracy and Development, CDD. Hello, Idayat.
Hi, Tom.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for us to have you on Women Radio. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's an honor as well to be speaking on a platform that is promoting women's voice on national issues, not even just women's issues.
Thank you very much, Idayat. Idayat, you are known as a woman that shakes table. You talk gently, quietly, subtly, but we know how you shake tables when it comes to democracy, when it comes to everything that democracy stands for, when it comes to women, when it comes to inclusiveness, and most importantly, when it comes to Nigeria. And that is why we are honored to have you with us today. So, Idayat, let me start. The proposed bill by Honorable Nkiruka Onyejiocha seeks to create 111 special seats for women in the 9th National Assembly. What are your immediate thoughts on this?
I think that it's a very welcome development. It's a welcome development, one, because without affirmative action, any form of affirmative action, so this 111 seat is also a form of affirmative action. Nigerian women will have no opportunity of being represented in the political sphere, particularly elected one, because the system is already gamed against women, and the most important system gamed against them is the party structure. That party structure, it goes beyond at least our own evidence, the work that we've been doing, polling people and speaking to them for a year across Nigeria, and has shown that it's not culture, it's not religion, it's not only money that we all believe is responsible for women not being in office, but it is really the fact that political parties do not even present women. Now, finally, we have an opportunity which will make it mandatory for these political parties to now present women, and we are guaranteed of 111 of these women on the table. So finally, women's voice will be heard. Tom, it gives you an opportunity. It gives me an opportunity to be heard without thinking of money, without thinking of everything that actually is gains off from being there. And it tells something. The big picture people are not seeing is that it represents, it's not tokenism, because I don't believe that it will just be ordinary women that will be there. I believe that most of the advocates, many of the women are going to go get there and we are going to go make laws that really matters, that affect the lives of Nigerians positively, and check that system in a year, if not even from 1 month, because there are so many capable women out there who are doing great things and who need to be in politics.
Hidayat, you said something. This is a form of affirmative action, and I think some women do not know this. The reason I'm saying this is there has been a number of dialogues on this bill. I'm aware that different women groups, some are in agreement, some are disagreeing, some saying it's tokenism. We've heard women say, look, whether tokenism or no tokenism, the fact that 111 seats is going to be set aside for women is a big step for us in our journey towards democracy. You spoke about representation. You spoke about the fact that my voice, our voices, the voice of the women will be heard without having to buy the vote, without violence and all of those. So what steps can women groups adopt to ensure that this bill is passed into the law? What else can we do?
I think there is a lot we can do, but this is not just for women alone. This is for any progressive man, young person or woman. Because when we talk in terms of inclusion, how do you justify having like 49% of the country's population? Again, like that 49% on the voters register, then you have that tokenism in terms of representation, which means that in numbers, we are not there. Who can make laws that who can understand the plight of a woman? Please, can a man know what it's like to give birth? Can a man know what sanitary issues mean when women in those villages are on their period and they can't really, they don't have the basic in terms of water and sanitation? Nobody can know this more than a woman. And great, and when you look at it, even all the men, they have women. There is nothing that says that my daddy will not want me to be there to be speaking. And it is the same for men everywhere. So it's a collective thing. This is not a woman agenda. This is a Nigerian agenda, which says that you cannot leave a part of your population out of the governance process. So we really have to reframe it and make people understand that it is a responsibility of us, not the responsibility of women. Because when we get there, don't also know that these women will be representing Nigerians, not women. And they'll be representing Nigerians better because they are mothers, because naturally empathy comes to them. As a woman, you don't have to learn empathy. At least you find that 80%, just to be very conservative, has got empathy in them. And empathy is no longer something that is a trait. It has become a skill. Any political office holder must have. So you find this is an agenda. It's an agenda for all is the first thing I would like to talk about. Then now, beyond getting it as an agenda for all, not agenda for women, a lot of work is there for us to do as women. We have to start breaking this down into absolutes such that people can really understand it. Even if just in numbers that we are showing people that, okay, they said 200 million, and we have 49% of 200 million. That is like how many, 50-50 would be 100 million. That is just like you are talking about around 98 million or so on 99. So why is it that this 99, when you put it at an average, they have less than 4% representing them? How is that justice? How is that justice? How is that just? Then when we start putting again the reality of this present day into people, when they look at things now, they say that, oh, Nigeria is bad, things are turning wrong. But people are not also saying that the exclusion of women, both from the economic and the political sphere, is responsible for most of the challenges that then becomes into all these gross things, either in terms of insecurity, in terms of waywardness, everything men can complain. Because women are in charge of the family. They are
Okay. This is this is towards an inclusive governance in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to quickly interrupt you there. 12 minutes after 2, Towards an Inclusive Governance in Nigeria is an initiative of Nigerian Women Trust Fund and supported by Open Society Initiative of West Africa, OSIWA. I am talking to Idayat Hassan, Director, Center for Democracy and Development, CDD. Idayat is talking to us. You were just talking about men, and I deliberately wanted to interrupt you because I want to call out the telephone lines so that we can take 1 or 2 calls for you to be able to address questions coming in from members of the public. Now, the number that we want you to phone in to ask Idayat a question is 07000 917 917 07000 917 917. I need you to phone in and ask Idayat a question. Now you can also send in a message at WFM 917 on Facebook and on Instagram. Idayat, I know we were talking about men. I love the fact that you said this is a Nigerian agenda, not just the woman agenda. It's a responsibility of all, not just for women. Now, and I want to ask you about men, the role of men, because you said it's not just for women, it's for democracy, it's for all of us. Now, the role of men regarding this bill, how do women groups, how do they need to strategize to get the support of men, traditional faith leaders, in supporting this bill? Thank you.
I think that it's a mobilization one and it's an inclusion one. First and foremost, within us, amongst us, we must recognize that we cannot make this a women agenda or we will lose it. Because many men are there in support of women. There are men who support women even more than women. How do we get all these men to be champions on board?
Okay.
And for us in the civil society, this is not the first time. When we had the likes of Honorable Koyotoyo, who went and contested as House of Representatives member in our constituencies then, it was men who actually brought the idea, who supported her, who engaged. How are we engaging these men? How are we engaging men in the political party and making this their agenda? Currently, yes, Honorable Gotcha, she has actually put into this. Yes, she's part of it. But don't also forget that the Speaker of the House of Representatives, a man, actually supported, Honorable Femi Bajabiamila,
yes,
who sponsored the bill, which tells you that there are many men supporters there. One is we need a general mobilizing strategy, which brings us to bring everybody on the agenda, from our religious leaders, from traditional leaders, from the young people to the old people, our fathers and our mothers, to bring them and make them understand, because these are not new. I think we both religious and culturally, in all parts of Nigeria, we had the Margaret Epo, the Efun Sheto Anuora, Madam Senumbu, Queen Amina of Zauzau, Ajali, many people, both in the north and the south of this country, women who have been very vocal activists, politicians.
Okay, Idayat, I need to interrupt you. You have a call now. We'll just take the call. Hello, hi. Identify yourself, please, where you're calling from, and just go straight to the question or comment. Hello? Okay. Do you just want to identify yourself and then just go straight to your comment to Idayat? All right. Idayat, I guess that's a network. Sorry to interrupt you. Do you want to continue what you were talking about men supporting us? Yes.
Right. So I think men will support us also because obviously they know that historically, religiously, they've always supported us. They've always seen this to be part of us as a country. It is actually nothing new. And they will continue to do that. So we need to mobilize them. We need to mobilize for their support. We need to engage them. We need to make them feel wanted. And
Okay. Thank you, Idayat. We now have a call now. Let's just quickly take this. Your name and your questions, please, or comment. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am.
Please go ahead, sir. Go ahead with your comment and your name.
Okay. Now, my question is, why I'm in support of the women being empowered? Now, but I have a question. Creating 101 in the Senate.
Seats, special seats.
Yeah, special seats, both in the Senate and the House of Assembly. Now, my question is, we are complaining that we don't have money and where we service more in our recurrent expenditure in the government. Now, are we not spending more? Now, the question is, why can't our political parties create a particular forum, a room where they can push the women forward in their political parties so that they can ascend to, have a position instead of men? So why not? I believe, okay, those in the House of Assembly, they support it, but what about creating a forum whereby they will bring these women in forefront in their political parties? Now, I support the 101, but what I'm saying is that is it not still affecting our recurrent expenditure where government is crying that there is no money, there's no money? So that's my question. Thank you.
David, thank you very much. Idayat, you heard him, right?
Yes, I heard him.
Good.
And I do, in a way, I think that one, for us, we've always campaigned that we have to de-emphasize the look of office, because that is what actually makes people to become, make politics zero-sum because of the attraction of office. And that should be the focus of any patriot, not to talk about the 111 seat, increasing the cost of governance. But instead, because when you are saying that you are indirectly taking away the rights from people who have been historically subjugated and who have got no voice, our emphasis is that the attraction of office should actually be reduced. Because if we make this as an excuse, we are justifying some of these resources that are being appropriated, that we don't even know anything about them. We are making it a basis even for the women to then go and get them. Emphasis should be on de-emphasizing the attraction of office. If it is 1 million people are getting, they must be able to report for it, or it must become 500,000 naira so that it can actually get other people in. And most of those monies are not even, they are not on this appropriation bill. They are not things anybody reports to us. They are things that are just hidden and buried somewhere.
Okay, thank you very much for that. This Towards an Inclusive Governance in Nigeria is an initiative of Nigerian Women Trust Fund, supported by OSIWA. And this afternoon, I am talking to Idayat Hassan, Director, Center for Democracy and Development. Idayat, I want to go to electoral processes, right? We know that electoral process is very key in our democracy. How can women groups educate women on these electoral processes and at the same time provide support to the women as they run for these seats?
I think really for women in terms of running,
I think we have a call. Hello, hi.
Hello.
All right, your name and where you're calling from.
Mr. Darlington speaking.
Thank you, Mr. Darlington. Please go ahead and ask Idayat your question.
The question I want to ask, are all women in support of this 111? Or some few of them who have actually or going to benefit. Because one, these women that are going to be elected, if you check very well, they have political alliances with their husbands. If a man is in a party and the wife is in the same party, and the man is a politician and is interested in an office, are you going to put the two of you together forward? What do you think the community will say? You can see that already the women have been compromised because you will never be at variance with your husband in his political alliance. It's not possible. You can't live together in that house. So if the women are saying they are comfortable with this 1-1-1, how are they going to be independent-minded? Because that is the key word. Are you going to oppose your husband in the house? Can you truly oppose the decision of your husband and the party and stand firmly on what you believe in? Or
Thank you very much,
Mr. You just sit down in the
Thank
house.
you, Mr. Darlington. Thank you. Idayat, over to you, please. Thank you, Mr. Darlington.
I think that, Mr. Darlington, politics in Nigeria is actually much more sophisticated than that. And I'll use the example of northern Nigeria just to show how sophisticated it can be. Both Katsina in northwest and northeast of Nigeria, Yobe State. During the 2019 general elections and the APC primaries, political primaries, we had the former Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, who was also the wife of the former governor, Kidam of Yobe State, and
yes.
one of our stepsons contest for the seat in the primaries, and she won it. Is the father going to divorce her for doing that? She comes from a very huge political family from her own father's side, not because she is married. And she was a politician, even at every point, and left ministerial position to go and represent her people. In Katsina, we had two brothers also, even in President Buhari's constituency, one contesting the by-election on, I think it's the Issa Keita, or what do they call them, on
Yes.
the other on PDP from the same family. In different parts, many people are from different political affiliations. It doesn't matter. Then the question of saying that, okay, is it some women that will then benefit from it? Does it really matter? I think that what really matters is also that women's voice will be heard, and we are also certain that women who are capable will definitely get there to represent our interests. And even if we then say that they are not, they are our interests. The way they will represent our interests, those 1-1-1.
Okay.
400 men are not able to do that because they don't know what women, children, and young people do feel.
Thank you very much. 25 minutes after 2, we have another call for you. Yes, hi. Please go ahead. Oh, sugar, we lost that call. Please phone in back 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. So what we're doing today is we have brought the experts on radio for you to be able to ask as many questions as you want to ask with regards to the 111 special seat. The call is back. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, Darlington, I call back. I want to.
Mr. Darlington, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. We have quite a number of people that have many questions to ask Idayat. So 30 seconds, please. And you can send us a text. But 30 seconds, go ahead, please.
Now.
Mr. Darlington, 25 more seconds for you, please. I need to be strict on this. Thank you.
Okay, young lady. Now, I want to ask, please, these things that have not been working well with our politicians, and they have women in their homes as their wives, why can't charity begin at home? Why can't the women begin this campaign from their home so that their husband can do the right thing.
Thank you very much. Idayat, please, can you, he's just asked the question. Please address that because we have more calls to take on, please.
I think that's
Thank
what
you.
has happened, that we have gotten to this stage of people like the speaker supporting this 111
Thank you very much. 27 minutes after 2 on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Another is coming in. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. All right. Idayat, I just quickly want to ask about the electoral process. I mentioned. Hello, good afternoon. Okay. Electoral process I was talking about earlier, which is very key in our democracy. How can women groups educate women on the electoral processes and at the same time provide support to the women as they run for these seats?
Oh, thank you very much. I think that our work is two ways. One is to get more women to come out as voters during elections, but not just to vote, but to also ensure that they hold elected government accountable and all their needs are mainstream into the agenda prior to even voting and accountability. Now, the second one, which is actually like the biggest for us, is we have to start from identifying those who want to run and encouraging them to run.
Oh, Idayat, let's just take a female. There's a female calling in, please. Let's take that. Your name, please, and where you're calling from.
My name is Temi Fomaripo.
Thank you.
I must really
Your
commend
question.
Honorable Chiruka for this move. It's a very good move because when I read about it, I was really excited about it because, yes, if we have more women in the Houses of Parliament, definitely we cannot speak about women or matters that concern women when they are only men. They will definitely speak in favor of the men. That is why issues that concern women are always swept under the carpet or taken as trivial matters. Now, in my own place as a person, I would really love to go into politics, but I see little or no support from the male counterparts when I say I want to go into politics. So what can I do in my own little way, in my own place, so that I'm able to mobilize women together to make them see that, yes, we can actually have a place and a voice in governance.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Idayat, over to you. That's a woman who really wants to do a lot, but challenges from the men folk.
So I guess that it's what it also links to your last question. We have to identify people like her. We have to encourage her that she should not actually feel like it's not a defeated thing. We can't be afraid. We have to go all out for it. Then we have to build our capacity to engage because we also do not want to engage on the basis of not knowledge. Capacity not just to engage, even to not just ordinary manifesto development and all these things, to also get out the vote. Picking capacity to run politics in a different way. Then we have to engage with these women. We can't leave them. It's not just about money. Then
so Idayat, I think the women are phoning in now. Let's have, I hear there's another female on. Hello, hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, your name and where you're calling from and your question.
Okay, so my name is Ozian. I'm calling from Amigo. I've been listening and I think I like this, the way it sounds, having more women in the parliament. But I'm just wondering, how can we simplify this so that the women on the streets, the grassroots women actually can understand and can help spread the word so that more women can be involved, more women can push for this. Because if we keep, I don't want us to put more attention on the office type of women, the women that career women and all of that. Because when they come for elections, politicians don't go to them; they go to the grassroots. So how can we put this into the grassroots so that we can mobilize them for this thing to be actualized?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I think one of the questions I was going to ask you is, we know the critical role women play in politics, women campaigning hard and women vote. What are women and women groups doing to sensitize women to participate in politics as voters, as contestants? And she's just hitting the nail there at the grassroots level. Over to you. I know I've asked you a question before, if you can wrap the two together.
So I think that I've already spoken about identifying, then building their capacity, and of course engaging. Is not just about money, and that also fits into what she said. But it's not just a job for women group, it's a job for all of us. She has been able to articulate this. We need her to go to the grassroots. We need to speak about our issues. We need to use every opportunity to mainstream what really affects us into the whole political discourse and why women must actually be involved. In fact, I think that by the time we start creating scenarios out of insecurity, why it is even the lack of women voice, the lack of women involvement in any of those structures that are actually being created, that is also responsible for some of these challenges. I'm sure that all this will help, but we need serious mass mobilization. And the people who are able to help us the most are those grassroots women, because it is the same grassroots women that the political class, the men, actually use to mobilize their own votes. So how do we then get them to see that this is our agenda, which means that we have to bridge the gap between the elite and the grassroots.
So Ida, you know what? Mr. Darlington, who called and spoke about would women want to oppose their husbands, and then he said, women should stay back and support their husbands. He represents a lot of men, and we cannot overlook that. How can we make Mr. Darlington and other men who he represents understand that when you have more women in governance, that is called democracy, and that is going to benefit the society as a whole? How else can we explain to the men for them not to see us as enemies or competing with them?
I think it's a mindset. It's a mindset issue, and it's this mindset that platforms such as Women's Radio is established. So your work is clear for stone. I think that we have to do other programming, which we are going to use to target men like Mr. Darlington, and also religious and traditional narrative that goes against women's involvement in politics and even in economy. Because now it's so simple. If I tell you that if there is anybody that actually asks me to run, it's actually my 9-year-old that will say, Mommy, run, Mommy, and I'll be like, run? They say, yes. Why can't you run? Then go and say, there is a big question, there is a big issue. I'm going to tell you, Mariam, it's secret. Mommy is going to run for office. And I'll be like, what? How do you have such this big, laudable thing that actually scares even me as a woman? We need to get to that level. And this equality does not mean disrespect. Women saying they are equal to men does not mean that they disrespect their husbands, their partners. These are inherent parts of our culture, our religion. Nobody is taking it away. But we are also saying that it doesn't mean that a woman has gotten lesser capacity than a man to rule. It doesn't mean. Because they allow people work. Angela Merkel did. In Germany.
Okay. Idayat, I want to thank you very much. As I said at the beginning, you talk quietly, subtly, but you shake tables. And thank you for the way you just handled the last question. Are you going to contest? Well, your daughter did. I'm asking you, are you contesting? Would you consider after 2023?
Not at all. Not at all.
Idayat Hassan, thank you very much. Idayat is the Director, Center for Democracy and Development. Thank you, Idayat, for coming on the program today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Have a great day. All right, I have a call on. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you very much. What's the name?
Mercy calling from Owe.
Mercy, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Thank you, Mercy. Now, I had Idayat Hassan on. Dr. Limota Gorosugiwa, our next guest, is coming on. But today we're looking at the role of women groups. Now, 111 special seats is being requested for. We're seeking to create that. According to statistics that we have show us that we only have 4.4% representation of women in the 9th National Assembly. And the 111 seats that was sponsored by Nkiruka Onyeji-Ocha and Femi Gbajabiamila is already had its reading. Now, what do you think about this? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think we should have the seats?
It's not a bad idea.
Fantastic.
You know my challenge here? I don't even know if we are in democracy environment.
Okay.
And that is my fear. Where are these women coming? Which constitution are they going to live with? Is this same constitution that is sidelining some part of Nigeria that determines what people will do, that don't give people the opportunity to really practice the democracy that we are saying they are practicing? There's so much to be considered before we think of putting women. Let me tell you the truth. All the women on seats today, they did not go there with the attributes they are giving us today. They are they are beginning to practice what they are saying. And the Constitution is not helping. The Constitution is telling you you either beat them or you just them. And now you can't beat them. What will you do? That is why you see
I share your sentiment, and I'm going to bring Limota on to talk. I share your sentiment that are we really in democracy? Are they beating them? Are they joining them? But for us, we just feel that we need as many women to be in that position as a man. But thank you very much, Mercy, from Imowe, and I would direct your questions to Dr. Limota Gorosugiwa, who I'd like to thank very much for joining us on the program. The role of women groups, especially as we're looking at the 111 special seats in the National Assembly. Towards an Inclusive Governance in Nigeria is an initiative of Nigerian Women Trust Fund and supported by Open Society Initiative of West Africa, OSIWA. And I have with me the Executive Director, International Women Communication Center, IWCC, Dr. Limota Gorosugiwa. Hajia, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, my sister.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ajia. I know you lost your husband recently and you're here back at work. And this is why we're saying that women can do it. Women can multitask. Women are able to do it. Yes, you've mourned your husband, and we're glad to have you back at work. Thank you very much, Hajia. Now, I want to start by asking you, what is your own thoughts on this bill? Honorable Nkiruka, the Deputy Chief Whip of the House of Representatives, sponsored this bill. The bill is also co-sponsored by Femi Gbajabiamila, so that's a man supporting the bill. And the bill, we know, was read for the first time on, I think, 22nd of April 2021. Now, what are your immediate thoughts on this bill that is seeking an additional 111 seats for women?
Yes, thank you so much, my sister. I think my thoughts and the thoughts of many Nigerians...
Can you speak up a bit, ma?
Okay, thank you so much, my sister. I think my thoughts and the thoughts of many Nigerians is that we are ready to have alternative leadership. When the men fail us, let's try the women. That is what the law translates to me. That the men are now ready to have alternative leadership. That is, get the women into power and authority to make the necessary change we need. That means if the bill stays through, it means the men want to test and try the women, put them in position of leadership to make things happen in Nigeria. Maybe the men knows that without women, nothing will happen and there will be no positive change. So now that there's a space for us, it is the right time for the men themselves to create a system that will allow us to be part of the law and the bill can be effective. And what I mean by effectiveness is that it's a different thing to create a space. It's a different thing to allow the space to excel. So now that they translate a bill to say that they want certain number of women in position of power, let them give us the space to be able to occupy the position. And how can they give us the space? They can give us the space in 3 dimensions. One, to have an affirmative policy at local and national level to say that every political party must put women, certain numbers from their states, to occupy the space. That is one affirmative action, to say that these 100 and something numbers will be occupied by women from the national from the state to national level. And we are going to make sure that there's an affirmative action that says that any political power that does not mainstream this number of women into the national or state assembly will not be allowed to contest. That is what I mean by affirmative one. Number 2 is to empower INEC to say that any political power that does not file a woman for the existing position that is be allocated to women will not be allowed to move. Number 3 is to mobilize all the women who are interested in politics to come out, be strong, courageous enough to fight for any second position that they think they can occupy. So these are the 3 dimensions that we need to work on. 1, to work on INEC. 2, to work on the political party and the leadership to make sure that this become a reality. And 3, for the women themselves to be courageous enough to come out and stood their ground and get the power they need to make Nigeria a better place for all. We need a change from what we are used to. The women are ready to make the necessary change for Nigeria to excel. Thank you.
Dr. Limota Goroso, every time I talk to you, you take me back to school. The way you break things down, the dumbest person will understand. And I just want to thank you for that. 1, affirmative action, political parties. 2, empower INEC. And 3, mobilize courageous and interested women. Thank you very much. Now, let's look at lack of finance. Lack of finance. I mean, we've heard women say things, not even things. We statistics show, data show us that violence is one of the challenges we have in getting women in politics and governance. Patriarchy is another one. Lack of finance has been one of the causes that hinder women from running for offices. How can women get financial support to run for elective positions? How else can we do this? Because the affirmative action of this 111 seats is definitely cutting out the money politics that we know is very bad and negative for democracy. But how else can women get financial support to run for elective positions?
That is very easy and very simple to do. And I'm saying this with affirmative action as well. And when we use the word affirmative action because we want it to translate to reality. When you want something to be done in reality, you use the word affirmation. So the 3 ways I want to suggest that we can get money to get women into power. 1, sometimes people talk of money. It's not about power and leadership. It's not about money. There are 3 ways of being in leadership. 1, people are born into power and authority. People inherit it, and people grow to be a leader through self-help. In those days, our leaders, they pick leadership from within. Leadership emerge naturally, and people will just vote you into power. They think you can do it, you can be their leader, without asking for anything. That's what I grew up to know in those days. Even in our school days, we don't use money to finance leadership. Leadership emerge from what you can do, from being a leader within your community and people trust your sense of judgment. But now that money is everything, I want to suggest that 1, the government of Nigeria, through the Women Trust, can please set aside a certain amount of money to support women participation in politics. This is very important. Because women don't have money, they are not corrupt, they don't have stolen money to push themselves. So we have to look for the little resources that Nigerian government can use to support us through the Women Trust and any other agencies that is ready to support women. That's one. Two, the donor agencies and international community can also support civil society organizations to bring out and amplify women's voices who want to take part in politics. Then three, the political party themselves, they can sacrifice by encouraging women to take part in politics by making sure they offset some of the expenses that comes with politics. Because if you are interested in a candidate, you can finance a candidate. The political party can finance women. They can say, oh, we want 5 women, let them go. Let them get there without asking money from them. So those are the 3 ways: waivers, donor agencies, and the Nigerian government. These 3 ways we can get money to get women into power.
Thank you very much. Ajia, Dr. Limota Goroso-Giwa, towards inclusive governance is an initiative of Nigerian Women Trust Fund, supported by OSIWA. I'll take this call. Hello, good afternoon. Okay. The number to call to speak to Dr. Limota Goroso is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Your name and where you're calling from?
Okay, my name is Bolu from Ogba.
Thank you, Bolu. Please go ahead.
All right, thank you. I want to commend Madam Ajia. Like, she has really done
Limota Goroso, thank you.
Yes. So the media has been trying in their own way to push for implementation of women in politics. But how can the women out there help the media in canvassing for, political space for other women? How can women out there join hands together to help women push for space in politics?
Okay. Did you mean the media or women themselves?
Women, how can they support the media? Because most of the time they find out that the media can only do little out of it. Okay. How can women not support the media?
I see. Thank you very much, Bolu. Thank you. Dr. Limota Goroso, she's saying that the media is critical in educating and informing the public. How are women groups engaging the media to help canvass for, let's say, the passage of this bill into law, for instance? So it's about women and media groups, or women groups and media.
Yes, it's a good question. And what he's trying to understand is what are we, as leaders of civil society group, are doing to support women, especially women in the media. There are 3 ways we work with the women in media. One is the one we are doing now, supporting the women radio, coming together as a formidable team, and synergizing and amplifying women's voices. This is one of the protests of working with the media. The second one is working with the Nigerian Union of Women Journalists and working with women on social media platforms to campaign for women. But the most important thing is that at this level of our country, we need to synergize from all the angles, not just the women media. We need to synergize to work together with women in politics and political parties themselves. For instance, there are
Ajia, Dr. Goroso, we need to take a call. We'll come back to that. Hello, hi, good afternoon. Oh, he's gone. Hi. Sorry about that. You can continue. So you're talking about also engaging the women in politics.
Yes, because they are the mainstream. They are the one who knows the mainstream of the political terrain. So it is necessary for the women journalists to please work together with the women in politics themselves. We are not politicians, we are just advocates who are working for the promotion and protection of women's image in terms of socio-political engagement. We are just advocates of women's rights. But there are women who are mainstream politicians who know the periphery of the politics themselves. If the media, if the women journalists and the women media, any platform, social platform, whatever media platform, electronic and papers can work together with the mainstream women in politics, they will be able to tell you the challenges they are facing. We as advocates is to amplify their voices, whatever political party they belong. We don't care any political party they belong. Our own is to work together with them to amplify their voice, bring out the change we need. And then the media are the ones to promote and project the image of womanhood. So we need to synergize the three of us. Maybe one to have a joint meeting, a joint platform, or a conference called confab. By next year we should be sitting together with the women in politics, regardless of political party they belong. We should have a national confab. We should have a political party that is named after Women's Party of Nigeria. We should be working together around the clock right now if we are to realize the bill that the National Assembly is talking about. We have a long way to go. The first thing is we need a national conference that will bring the media together and the women.
And I think that national conference shouldn't be next year. It should be It should be this year.
Thank you, my dear. Any time is the time. But the most important thing is we need to sit together, face to face. Let's talk to our face. It's not about Zoom meeting this time. It's about sitting together, looking at our challenges and working it out. Because for how long can we sit on the fence? We need to start supporting each other now. Thank you.
I want to ask you one question that I want to rope into two. Okay, the first is we've had a man phone in representing a lot of men who think women should support their husbands and not just go into politics. Look, you don't want to oppose your husband, sit at home, stay at home, or even if you're doing your business, support your husband. I want to know what you're going to say to that. And also, violence against women in politics, we know is a big, widespread phenomenon, a discouraging one. What can women groups do to eliminate this? And that would be your last thoughts, ma'am.
Okay, the first one, you have asked me 3 questions at a time, which is okay for me. First of all, you asked about our marriage and the support of our husband in terms of political grouping.
No, a gentleman phoned in and said women should stay at home and support their husbands and not get into politics.
Yes, I'm saying that's a question for me to answer. And the other one is about gender-based violence. Yes, and the third one, maybe you remind me later. But the question now I want to address is about women sitting at home, take care of your husband, don't go into politics, and we need to support our husband if they're in different political parties. First of all, woman being and women, we women, we are also an identity of our own. We are identity of our own as one of the female gender. So we have our own identity, our own destiny, and our own platform as a woman. Therefore, whatever is good for the girls is good for the boys. Two, the new generation that we are facing now is not about sitting at home. Even the men are tired of sitting at home. They want us to work together to make things happen. If you are an idle wife, the husband will not love you. If you are working, your husband will be very proud of you. This new generation is not a generation of sit at home. It's a generation of working together with your husband or with men. So anybody that is telling you that sit at home is only wasting your time. By the time you finish with you, you will marry another wife. And that wife will be excelling. You will be in the kitchen and the house there. Before you know it, they are together and you are there as a housemaid in the house. So this is a generation of working together with your husband. My late husband used to remind me of meetings, conferences, say, Limot, I want to go for this meeting, I want to go for this and that. So he's always encouraging me. Even when he went into politics, he left army and joined politics. I didn't join politics with him. I only do my own as an advocate of women's rights, regardless of any political party. So if a man is telling you to sit at home, you are only wasting your time. He's wasting your time.
Thank you.
It's there somewhere. That is one. Two, about the issue of gender-based violence.
And what do we do about it?
People don't even understand what we mean by gender-based violence. It's a violence that occurs between men and women, which can be children, it can be husbands, it can be household, it can be your office mates and workmates. So what we can do about it is to have, first of all, we have passed a law. FAB is in place in Nigeria. All we need to do is to work towards promoting and protecting the criminalization of anybody that violates FAB Constitution of Nigeria. So if we can promote FAB in terms of popularizing it and entrenching it in schools among the younger children to know that there's a limit to a woman endurance. You cannot violate women's rights and go scot-free. And that is the solution to gender-based violence.
Thank you.
Then the last one is any woman that wants to go into politics, don't wait because your husband is in APC and PDP. Just go to any political party that you accommodate to and realize the aim and objective and contribute your quota to this world. This world is so short. Whatever
Dr.
you do,
Limota.
Remember you.
Thank you.
Remember, if you do good, if you make changes, Nigeria need a lot of changes now. So it is time for women to do the necessary change.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Limota. Women groups must work harder and together to ensure that the Nkiruka Onyejiocha bill seeking 111 special seats for women in the House of Representatives is passed into law. This will enable more women to participate in governance. Women groups must sensitize rural and grassroots communities on the benefits of this bill. Women groups need to engage more with their grassroots sisters on the need to educate our girl children to ensure that we have more women that are capable of holding key positions in politics. I'd like to say thank you to the guest, Idayat Hassan, Director, Center for Democracy and Development, and Dr. Limota Goroso Giwa, Executive Director, International Women Communication Center. The producer, Esther Laribe. The production team, Tunde Oluwake and Taiwo Adeleye. Towards an Inclusive Government in Nigeria is an initiative of Nigerian Women Trust Fund, NWTF, and supported by Open Society Initiative of West Africa, OSIWA. My name is Tom Kiwali Shunaya.